Fuck, I forgot my tea. Oh my god. Okay, I'll get my tea after. So, I wanted to thank Zayla Sweetbean for letting me podfic this. I did send another message to you with. I'm gonna send the message with this also again. I didn't feel like shading this cover art though, but yeah, this is an old design for this fic that I did like forever ago. Even though he's described as a white feather duster in the fic, I'm sorry, I love Kitsune so much, and the idea that his like tail tips are all white with the like big puff is just too fucking cute. It's too fucking cute. Like, look at him. The only thing that's changed from the OG that I did was the back. The back originally had the similar barbed effect that the tails did, but I never really liked it. So I decided to leave it out. Um Now the permission with this fic is a little weird because it's on Tumblr. Guys, listen, it's on Tumblr. But I don't want to show the message right now because actually, you know what? I can show the message. Let's see, does that Okay, I can show the message, but I can't show it all because I want if I do get permission for this, I want it to be a surprise. I'm damn excited because if I get permission for it, okay, I don't think you realize. I'll only podfic fics that I'm genuinely interested in and genuinely like. That's just a thing that I do, okay? Because if I'm not having fun rereading it, then I don't want to do it then, you know? So, I kind of made it like a house rule that I'm supposed to reread fics before I ask, you know? But I did reread this fic, but like it's very rare for me to reread fics. Okay, I can count on one hand. What the fuck was that noise? I wonder if that got picked up by recording. I don't know what that noise was. Oh wait, actually, I just got. Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! That was a Tumblr noise. Holy shit! I was gonna show my Tumblr messages, but now I don't think I can for a second. Holy shit! Sorry, you're hearing me be very excited. Holy shit! I'm gonna keep this in. Yes, Sweet Bean, this is your messages. Yeah, just let Katie know. Will do. Let me do that now. 100% am not in the middle. The middle. Yeah, let me do that now. Yeah, yeah, will do. Let me. Holy shit! Sorry. I'm like so fucking excited. Okay. Sorry. I'm like super excited now. The fic that I was waiting on, something else. I got permission from one of two authors. I'm going to inform the other author about that because I think the other author was waiting for the other one to agree or not, you know, which completely understandable. Like fully understandable. Like that is a struggle of doing multi fuck. Sorry, I'm like all jittery now. I'm jittery and excited. Okay, I should probably cut out me being happy here, but I'm not gonna. It's kind of funny. Um, Let me go find this. Where is it? Where is it? Where is the fic that I be hunting? There it is. Got it. There it is. Okay. First part of the series. Sorry, I'm very happy right now. I am extremely happy. I am extremely happy at the moment. I'm very happy. Okay, let me see if I can find my old message. To uh okay. Okay. And let me show the message now. Ah, damn it! It's gonna be harder. I don't know if I can get away. There we go. I can. Okay. Let me actually show the permission for this fic. Okay. Well, um, that was happy noises. That was very happy noises. I don't want the fuck off Discord. Thank you. That probably makes zero sense. I have a Discord chat that I call "fuck off" when I'm recording. Okay, but yeah, you can see here. This is my little message. I can't scroll up or down anymore. This. Okay, somebody's gonna definitely pause that and look at the rest. If you don't want to ruin the surprise, don't do that. But God, can I not? You can see here. If you want a podfic, I'm welcome to. That Zayla beats words. Okay, I'm so I'm gonna have to grab tea and take a minute. Holy shit, that was hilarious timing. Sweet Bean, you got some hilarious timing, even though I don't think it was intentional. Okay, I should probably get into the fic now. Let's do that. Other than me being a jittery mess. Also, you can see the old design from freaking a year ago. You can see what I mean. But yeah, I don't do fics unless I like them, and this genuinely the fic that I have gotten one author's permission for so far is like genuinely one of my favorites. Like I genuinely recommended it to so many people. It is literally the best in my opinion. But I have a bias for the type of fic it is. I have a severe bias. But it's great. And I'm so excited. Okay, I'm so excited. Because one step closer to it. Okay. I, okay, this is Nine Tails Are Better Than None by Zayla Sweetbean. Tags now. I'm all scattered now. I'm scattered. Okay. Genfic. What do you expect from me? Class A1 and Midoriya Zuku. Azawa, Eraserhead and Midoriya Zuku. Midoriya Zuku, Iya, Tsu, and Eraserhead. Post Kamino Ward arc. Class 1A Shenanigans. Kitsune Midoriya Izuku. Midoriya Izuku has one for all. Alternate universe fantasy. Kind of. Parental Eraserhead, aka Dezawa. Tired Eraserhead. Cute Midoriya Izuku. Transformation. Quirk Shenanigans. My Hero Academia. This is only 2,000 words, So I'm gonna end my recording here for a minute. Actually, let me read the summary. Then I'll end my recording for a minute, and then after we'll get into the actual thing after I make my tea or hot cocoa or whatever the fuck I decide to make. Summary. Where's Midoriya? His students glanced nervously at each other and then parted like the sea, revealing a small white object sitting on the coffee table. A very small, very fluffy fox looked up at him, unfortunately familiar green eyes. No, Shota said, willing the universe to accept his will and restore his student to normal form. Midoriya made an embarrassed squeaking noise, and 9 tails spread out, shielding his fluffy form from view. Shota searched the universe for the words to speak and only found one suitable. Why? It was silent. As a chronologically con- fuck. I have immediately fucked this up. I'm just gonna be quiet and then cut the beginning. It was silent. As a chronically overworked, sleep-deprived teacher, Shota Izawa should have rejoiced in the blessed relief from the lack of teenager shrieking laughter. However, as a part-time underground hero and a full-time teacher slash nanny, now that they had the dorm system, Shota had come to both love and fear silence. Love it because his perpetually simmering migraine disparity craved the quiet darkness of his sleeping bag, and feared it because of his 20 overpowered hormonal teenager students were quiet. Then something was happening that, if ignored, would create a larger headache later. So, when he had over 2 hours of blissful silence one Saturday morning, where he managed to grade a test, write 2 assignments, and then send off a buttload of emails, he finally resurfaced from the sea of work to realize that he hadn't heard from his students at all. This was not good. Flipping his laptop shut, Shota grabbed his capture scarf off the side table and wound it around his neck in preparation for whatever chaos his students had unleashed. Several students had received permission to head off campus in groups to receive their final interviews and reports from their internships. Considering that all his students had their provisional license, they were arguably better heroes than some working heroes should have knew. This shouldn't have been a problem. What a fool he was to think that. Stepping into the common room, he noticed his students bunched together, talking quietly. Several phones were out, and there were squeals of, "Let me take a picture!" followed by, "What do we do?" When they saw Shota standing there silently, their excited chatter died, and they stared apprehensively at him. Not a good sign. Instinctively, he asked the first question that came to mind. "Is anyone hurt?" No. That wasn't a good start. Shota scanned the room, mentally counting each student. A pit of dread opened up in his stomach as he noticed one student in particular missing. Midoriya wasn't a problematic student per se. He was eager to please, ready to learn, and terrifyingly determined. However, trouble was attached to that boy like cats to catnip. Shota was sure Midoriya didn't mean for any of it to happen, But Shota was also one catastrophe away from dragging the boy to Recovery Girl and getting a second opinion on his quirk. There had to be some side effect of his quirk that made any dangerous situation within a 100-mile radius perk their head and go, "Oh, he's perfect. Where's Midoriya?" His students glanced nervously at each other and then parted like a sea, revealing a small white object sitting on the coffee table. A very small, very fluffy fox looked up at him, unfortunately familiar green eyes. "No," Shota said, willing the universe to accept his will and restore his student to normal form. Midoriya made an embarrassed squeaking noise, and 9 tails spread out, shielding his fluffy form from view. Shota searched the universe for the words to speak, and found only one suitable. Why? Why? Well, it wasn't because Izuku was desperate to torture his teacher, or that he had a death wish a mile long. Contrary to what Ozawa and some of Izuku's classmates thought, he hadn't wanted to be turned into a small member of the candidate family. It's just, whenever he saw someone in trouble, he couldn't help himself. Usually his mind moved too fast for his body. He had lost so many good quirk observation ideas simply because his hands couldn't write at the speed he required. Or on a darker note, his mind would spiral into self-doubt and loathing because he hadn't been able to perform as well as he wanted. His body hadn't been fast enough or strong enough. Izuku had come to terms with this and found ways of working around it, carrying a recorder to catch what his writing couldn't, or talking to UA's resident therapist, Hound Dog. However, it was when his body moved too fast for his mind that the problem came. He'd seen someone hurt or crying or in danger, and before he could stop and think, like Azawa so desperately wanted him to, his body was already moving. The man claimed he was the only trying to teach the vendor some manners, after they refused to accept his expired coupon. But when the man kicked the stand, toppling cooked taiyaki, and then raised his arm to punch the flustered vendor, Izuku couldn't help himself. His body moved on its own. Still, it shouldn't have been a problem. He merely grabbed the man's wrist to inform him that assaulting taiyaki stand owners wasn't the polite thing to do. But all that came out was a loud yip as the man suddenly loomed several feet above him along with the rest of the world. Huh? Izuku thought, shrinking quirk? However, that theory was quickly dispelled when he tried to step forward and tripped over 2 extra legs that he swore he had not been there before. Face planting. He bashed his sensitive nose against the concrete, and when he looked up, he saw a fuzzy white thing looking back. Izuku blinked. His vision cleared, but when he tilted his head, the fuzzy thing on the reflective surface also did. Oh no, Izuku thought as he took in the perky ears, black nose, and tail spreading out behind him. He looked like a white feather duster that grew legs, flew for days. Ozawa was going to kill him. "I didn't touch the brat," cried Shingo Yamato, aka the man who turned Izuku into a small four-legged creature. "He's lying." However, the police ignored him, fitting him with a pair of handcuffs and escorting him to the back of a police car. The taiyaki shop owner spoke to another officer, gesturing wildly towards his stand with an expression on his face that clearly asked who was going to pay for the stand's damage and the dropped taiyaki. His classmates, Sue and Ida, who had come with him since their internships had been in the same city, looked at him. Ida had quickly restrained Shingo, but it had been too late for Izuku. Why? Ida asked despairingly. Izuku found the question rather rude. It tried to explain himself, but all that came out was a high-pitched yip. Izuku blinked, then tried again. Yip! Another yip. Ribbit, I don't think you're able to talk, Midoriya. Foxes don't have the same vocal cords as humans. Of course they didn't. Why did you have to engage him? Ida asked. Izuku raised an eyebrow. A difficult feat as a fox, but one he must have managed since Ida sighed. They were hero students. What else was he supposed to do? Also, how was he supposed to know that the villain had a quirk that turned his victims into animals? Thankfully, transformation quirks of this nature typically were short-lasting, maybe an hour or 5 tops. Asawa wouldn't have to know. It'll take it'll likely take 3 days for the quirk to wear off, the police officer informed them. Tenya Ida wanted to scream. 3 days? However, he was class president, and as such, it was his duty to maintain a level of decorum and respect even in the most stressful of situations. Biting his tongue and adjusting his glasses, Tenya checked the police officer's name. Iko Zenji. Officer Iko, Tenya said, surely that can't be the case. Transformation quirks aren't usually that long lasting. By Tenya's knee, Izuku shook his head rapidly in agreement, his pointing ears flopping slightly at the aggressive movement. Emotion choked Tenya at his cuteness. He accidentally missed what Officer Ika said. We've dealt with Shinjo before, and it's been the same for most of his victims. Although I say you're lucky. Usually it's rats or snakes. Once a hamster, another time a dog. A low growl echoed. Tenya, Sue, and Officer Iko looked for the source. Below them, Midoriya bristled, his lips curled back to reveal sharp teeth. The group stared at him, and Izuku blinked, then melted into a puddle of embarrassment. It's all right, Officer Ika said, taking mercy on the poor transformed hero student. Plenty of people don't like dogs. What did we do until then? Asked Tenya imploringly. He needed a plan. Something simple but concrete that would mitigate the eventual fallout. Surely, Officer Iko, with all his knowledge about Shingo related animal transformation, would have an idea. The police officer shrugged. Not a clue. Avoid animal control, maybe? Tenya, Sue, and Izuku looked at each other. We cannot let Izawa know. Let me get this straight, said Izawa, glowering at each of his guilty students. You were trying to hide this from me. No, of course not. We wouldn't do that. Not on purpose, at least. We only just found out. Azawa activated his quirk, his hair lifting off his shoulders and his eyes glowing a murderous red. It hadn't completely lost its effectiveness because the class stopped speaking immediately. The common room was silent until Ida hung his head. We were attempting to keep it under wraps until the quirk wore off, simply to avoid giving you more stress. Ida! Several students cried. Dude, how could you? Azawa deactivated his quirk, but resisted grabbing his eye drops. He was going for a murderous, angry teacher, not exhausted, sleep-deprived teacher. What were you planning on doing? Azawa asked. How was I not going to notice that one of my students was a fox? Actually, interjected Sue, I don't think he's a fox. Azuku wanted to scream, but was unsure his vocal cords could make the sound. Despite looking exactly like one, Azuku wasn't a fox. He wasn't sure if it was bad luck or the universe trying to mess with him, although he was leaning towards the latter. Because why not? Already, the plan had gone awry. Izuku was supposed to sneak back up to his bedroom without his classmates noticing. But Jiro had heard Izuku's faster heartbeat and immediately thought he was dying, since his heartbeat was above 120 beats per minute. The concern was appreciated, if only it hadn't gotten the attention of his class, who swarmed like toddlers to chocolate. Their towering heights and reaching hands gave Izuku a slight insight into what it would be like to be a sentient stuffed animal. Look at him, Sue said. She grabbed one of Izuku's tails, an odd, uncomfortable sensation, like someone was tugging on the base of his spine. Izuku lurched up, his claws scrambling on the table for purchase. Sorry, Ribbit, Midoriya. I didn't hurt you, did I? Izuku shook his head slowly. No, not necessarily, but it was that same discomfort if someone poked their finger in your belly button. Not painful, yet not pleasant either. Sue nodded. Tell me if it hurts too much. She carefully separated Izuku's tails from the tight bundle they were in, pulling the tails from each other. Look, she said, 9 tails. I'm pretty sure the average fox doesn't have 9 tails. Izuku craned his head, trying to count. Sure enough, 9 fluffy tails stood straight up in the air. He blinked, then counted again. Nope, they were 9. A surge of anxiety hit him, and Izuku looked under his stomach, counting to make sure he had a normal amount of legs. Still 4. Small mercies. So, what is he? Asked Kaminari, scratching his head. I think, Yaoyorozu said slowly, that makes him a kitsune. Kidzuku, whispered Araka. She blushed and avoided looking at Izuku. You know? 'Cause he's a kitsune, but also Izuku? Kitsuku! Mina squealed. So cute! Hagakure clapped her hands. Still, that's so cool. He's not even a normal fox. A magical fox. Zawa grumbled into his scarf, low enough that Izuku wouldn't have heard without his new foxy hearing. Because that's what I needed, a magical fox. What's the plan, then? Izuku said, but barking instead. Thankfully, Zawa was on the same mental wavelength. I'm going to call the station to get more information, said Izawa, glaring at the class. You are going to behave and not cause any more problems. Get back to whatever you all were doing. Even better, it's 8 o'clock. Get ready for bed. When the group didn't move, Azawa's voice lowered to a death rattle. Now. The class scrambled like a mouse before a cat, and Izuku aimed to join them, but Azawa fixed him with a stare. Not you. Instinctively, Izuku widened his eyes and crouched, making himself smaller, his tails floofing out around him. Azawa stopped mid-sentence, his eyes locking on Izuku. One of his hands twitched, and without looking away, he stuffed it into his pocket, and then crouched down to Izuku's height. He softened his voice. Kid, are you okay beside the whole transformation? No injuries, no pain? Izuku nodded his head. Just the internal pain of mortification. But nothing he couldn't survive. Sighing, Azawa rocked back on his feet. Good, but you better not be lying to me, because if I find even a splinter in one of your paws, Azawa's face split into a terrifying grin that made the fur rise on Izuku's back. Turning into a fox will be the least of your punishment. Izuku nodded rapidly. Got it. He got it. He couldn't imagine what horrors Azawa could devise. But his mind was haunted by endless obstacles, courses, and burning All Might merchandise. 3 days, said Azawa, in a voice of a man praying to the gods of teaching for an act of mercy. You could stay out of trouble for 3 days? Of course, Azuku tried to say, ready to fill his teacher with confidence in his ability not to attract chaos, but yipped instead. Azawa groaned. Okay, so I'm not surprised. You probably heard me like struggling not to laugh. This fic, it's very funny. Now, okay, this is something I said in originally in the comment sections like a year ago. I was nerding out about the whole kitsune thing because it's really smart if you think about it. Um, because like kits, a nine-tailed kitsune is considered the strongest type of kitsune. It has like a special name. I think it's like Kobono kitsune. I don't know how to say it though. Um, he is also the ninth holder, so him having 9 tails is very clever. Normally there's two different lores for foxes. So, or kitsunes, or kitsunes. One is every 100 years they gain enough power to grow another tail. So he would be 900 years old if he was that type. The other type is based on power. So every certain amount of power, a new tail forms. And it's like a storage for the power, which is really cool. They're also kitsunes are also able to cause natural disasters and stuff like that. They're messengers between the spirit realm and the regular realm. They're troublemakers. They're a bunch of things. They're really cool. I honestly recommend just looking at lore of kitsunes or kitsunes. Um, yeah, I actually had a okay here. I actually looked it up again. Kubu no Kitsune. Kitsune. Kubo no Kitsune. That's what a nine-tailed one is called. It, they're able to do higher levels the more tails they have. Um, I know the author of this fic was debating to continue it at some point. I If they do, I will gladly podfic more of it because I fucking love this. I love this little thing. It's adorable. Also, I may draw a version with Izuku being completely white of the fox form. just so people could see what that would look like, but not sure if I should or not. But yeah, I I love this fic. This fic is great. I love it. It's such a short fic too. I am planning to podfic something else today, hopefully. I'm gonna need more tea. I did get tea. Not hot cocoa this time, tea. I okay. My freak out at the beginning. It's funny because I did another Pika didn't sleep really well. So seeing that, I got super excited. I am planning to do one more for a fact if I'm feeling up to it or none of my other friends can write. I will do a third. But the thing is, I do understand the whole thing with like multiple people working on the same fic. It can be a little annoying with permissions to get for that. In this, not knowing to get permissions for can be annoying to figure out if the other author is okay with something. I usually just directly ask. Like, I'm very blunt about it. I have discords of anyone I write with, so I usually just message them and I'm like, hey there. So, somebody asked this. You chill with it? Because I'm chill. I'm chill with most shit. As long as it's not AI, I'm chill with most shit. Like, I could give two flat fucks, you know? But, that's just me. Anyway, uh, I should shut up now, shouldn't I? Okay. Anyway, the fic will be in the description, and if you didn't pay attention to before, the permission is in that fucking ramble of me absolutely freaking out at some point in the beginning. Hope you like my little shitty dollar store editing there of me freaking out. I kept it simple. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. Bye!